What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledParents. This story's called, Entitled Mother Wants Me to Pay for Her Upgrade and Harasses Me for Being Part German. I, 29, male, am traveling about once or twice a month from Germany to visit my father in Spain. He spends his well-earned retirement there. I am self-employed, running 2 businesses, and since both are running very well for the last few months, I am very glad I can afford flying that often to him. I always fly business class with the known German air carrier group, given the fact that I can check in 2 pieces of luggage since I like to bring a lot of stuff back from Spain. For example, cheese, sausage, foods, fruits my father's trees there, etc. After my 3 to 5 day stay. There is a certain route for flights to Spain from Germany, which is very convenient for me, since I'm saving a lot of money, up to 250 euros, for a return ticket in business class. Downside with this offer is that I have to take an early flight, 6:30 a.m., and there is a stopover in Zurich, Switzerland. So I have to be at 5 o'clock a.m. at the airport for dropping off my luggage. So one morning in March last year, I got up early, around 4 o'clock a.m., got myself ready for the cab I ordered. The cab arrived on point and dropped me off at around 4:50 a.m. at the airport. Since the check-in counter would be open around 5 o'clock a.m., I got in line, which at this morning was completely empty. I was the first in line. Around a few minutes prior to the opening of the counters, I first saw a mother, later revered as Entitled Mother, with their kid, struggling with the luggage machines at the economy luggage drop-off. Minding my own business, I continued looking at my phone to check some mails. Suddenly, I got cut in line by Entitled Mother with her kid. "Excuse me, ma'am, you have to wait until it's your turn."
"Don't you see that I have a child? Therefore, I don't have to wait."
I'm pretty sure that having a child doesn't give you any right to cut someone standing in line. Please wait until it is your turn.
"Oh my god, leave me alone, you perv."
Apparently, this dialogue didn't go without any attention from the airport staff, which then came over to find out what the issue could be, and so he asked me first. "Is there a problem, sir?" Well,
Why are you asking him first? I'm the victim here. He cut me in line.
Well, that's not true. I was patiently waiting here since 4:50 a.m. for the counter to open up, when she suddenly came out of nowhere, cutting me in line. "Ma'am, could I see your ticket, please?" Airport staff was starting to smile after he saw Entitled Mother's ticket as she gave it to him. "Ma'am, this is the wrong check-in counter for you. You're flying economy class and have to use the luggage drop-off machines over there."
So, I am a mother with a child. I have the right to stand here in line to drop off my luggage as well as he does.
I handed him over my phone, showing him my ticket, which states business class / frequent traveler. "This gentleman has every right to stand here in line. I am not gonna ask you again to leave."
"I won't leave. Leave me alone."
Then the counter opened up, and Entitled Mother ran faster than the speed of light to the worker at the desk, trying to check in their luggage. I just told the airport staff, "Don't worry, it's okay. I'm not in a rush. I'm sure she'll be sent away shortly by the counter staff." A second worker at another counter waved at me, and I went to her. She was asking what all the ruckus was about, and I told her what happened. She giggled, and I was able to drop off my luggage without any problems. When I got asked if I want my boarding pass to be also printed on paper, I gladly said yes, since you know that Murphy's Law could occur at all times in life. PE, when your phone dies on your trip. And Murphy's Law, just in case you don't know, is anything that can go wrong will go wrong. As she wanted to give my boarding pass, Entitled Mother came over to me and shouted,
"You pay for my upgrade."
"Excuse me?"
"You heard me. I deserve it way more than you to fly in business class."
"Are you for real? I won't pay for your upgrade. I don't know you, and apart from that, you were really rude to me earlier on. Called me a perv and cut me in line."
"Then give me your ticket."
"I won't do that." Have a nice day, lady. I grabbed my boarding passes and left, hoping I never saw that crazy lady again. Well, entitled mother apparently had other plans in mind. She followed me to the security check, and then I got a call from my girlfriend. Well, on the phone, she kept cussing and swearing at me.
You are a terrible person. How could you be so rude to me and my child?
And by far the craziest thing she said was,
You sure stole that money to buy that ticket. No chance in hell a young criminal like you could afford something like that.
And this is the part where I got slightly angry, but I didn't lose my cool. Ma'am, you don't know who I am or what I do for a living. You have absolutely no right to say these things to me, just because you might be jealous of me. Oh boy, I wish I hadn't said that. Entitled mother got really mad and started kicking my hand luggage. After that, she tried to grab my boarding pass. After she grabbed it, she quickly tried to grab her kid and run off to the security gates. Luckily, the airport staff and security, which helped me before, was watching the whole thing again and stopped her right in front of the gates. Afterwards, the airport police has been called, and I was asked if I wanted to press charges against her. Seeing her little kid being really embarrassed about the whole situation, I decided I won't do that. Entitled mother afterwards began to start an absolutely meaningless discussion about how a criminal foreigner like me can fly like this, while she, as a single mother, has no support or anything. I have slightly darker skin since my mother was part Asian and my father was German. I grabbed my stuff, passed through the gates, and went to the toilet. Afterwards, I wanted to eat some breakfast at the lounge. On my way to the lounge, I again encountered entitled mother with her kid. It makes me wonder until this very day how someone mentally unstable like her got past the security check after acting like a spoiled teenager. Again, she saw me, and this time she tried to follow me, thinking I wouldn't notice her. Well, joke's on her. I went straight to the lounge and got rid of her. When I entered the lounge, I then asked at the lounge counter if my boarding gate has been announced yet. During that time, I heard entitled mother screaming and whining through the massive glass doors of the lounge, yelling louder than I have ever heard her before.
That was my friend. He knows me, and I'm sure he'll confirm everything.
Well, I couldn't be bothered with that anymore. So I sat down at an empty armchair, plugged in my headphones, and listened to some music while getting some breakfast. Suddenly, a lounge employee went through the lounge asking other guests if they knew anything about that lady outside. That was getting way out of hand, so I went to that lady and explained what happened at the check-in counter and the security gates. Entitled mother got eventually sent away by the airport police. After enjoying my stay, I went to the gate for boarding. And again, the universe seems to have so much joy tormenting me. I saw entitled mother at the same gates again. This time, I tried to avoid being seen by her, so I tried to walk around her and got in line for the priority boarding line. Then, the announcement came for the boarding to start, and I got quickly onto the plane, but the bad luck strikes again. The plane has been swapped from an Airbus 321 to an Airbus 320, meaning that every passenger has to enter the plane via one door at the front instead of two separate ones, meaning entitled mother would see me when she got on the plane. I decided that it would be a good time to go to the bathroom, so I asked the flight attendant if it would be possible. She said no problem, and I went there, hoping she would pass me once I got out. Well, joke's on me. When I got out, nobody else boarded the plane for some reason. I got back to my seat and hoped for the best. Suddenly, everyone, and I mean everyone, was having their eyes wide open as they heard the entitled mother's loud and squeaky voice in the hallway to the plane. To make matters worse, I sat in 1A, meaning that it would be most likely for her to spot me. And for completion of all that trouble, her kid saw me first. Then she did. I took a deep breath and thought this would be the longest 45-minute flight to Switzerland that I have ever had. Immediately after she spotted me, she tried to screw me over again, starting an unexpectedly civil conversation that I would sit in her seat.
Excuse me, sir? I believe you're sitting in my seat.
No, I'm not. Look at my boarding pass. She then took it away from me and claimed to the flight attendant that I have tried to screw her over. What a total BS situation. The flight attendant then looked at the name of the boarding pass and asked the entitled mother if she realized that there is a male name on the boarding pass. Shortly after, I reached into my wallet and showed her my ID card. Afterwards, she claimed that it would have been an error in the carrier system since she states that she booked this seat row for her and her kid. She then just sat down next to me in the row with her child, saying that she would not move since I would not have deserved to fly with better service since she has a child. Long story short, flight attendant gave her a last warning that she should stop right now with this nonsense or else she and her child would be kicked off the plane. Suddenly, she was calm like a sheep and left me alone. Shortly after takeoff, when breakfast was served, the flight attendant from before came to me and apologized for the disturbance. I said to her that she has no need to worry as it wasn't her fault and told her crazy people always think they're right. In the end, I got to Spain on time and was very happy that I can enjoy some time with my dad. Alright guys, yes, I know, being a single mother is very difficult. It's not an easy job to have. However, that does not mean you can steal someone's seats because they paid for it, not you. Like, hey, come on, it's not my fault that you had to go and get yourself knocked up, am I right? Alrighty, Roo, this story is called Neighbors Tried to Label Me a Prostitute Because I Was Sexually Active. I lived in Melbourne, Australia for about a year, 2013 to 2014. There, I met a gorgeous same-sex couple, Brian and Derek, name changed. They were both bisexual. They lived in the same building as me on the floor directly above mine. I soon entered into a sexual relationship with both of them. We would have group activities and sometimes other group activities. Besides the awesome group activities, I also became really good friends with them and we're still in touch. It was tons of fun for all involved. Among my neighbors were a middle-aged couple with 2 children. They lived right across the hallway from me and were quick to judge us after seeing Brian and Derek exiting my apartment early in the morning on more than one occasion. The woman, Karen, asked me in the elevator what I was doing with those 2 gays. I politely told her it was none of her business. When she kept on pestering me, I told her, if you must know, I'm friends with benefits with them. Now leave me alone. I still remember the look of shock on her face. I don't think she expected me to reply so brazenly. When I told Brian and Derek about this, they shared their own experience with them. This couple was rather homophobic too, and had tried to talk to the property manager about those bundle of sticks moving into a building with families and children. They were told to step off, just not in so many words. But anytime either or both of these guys were in the elevator with them or ran into them in the parking lot, the husband, let's call him Todd, would stand between them and his kids while giving Brian and or Derek angry looks. Must have been trying to prevent their kids from catching the gay. Ah! In the weeks that followed, the entitled couple continued to give me the stink eye anytime they saw me. I just smiled back at them sweetly, which pissed them off even more. On one occasion, their teenage daughter said good morning to me and tried to make small talk before her mother dragged her away by the arm, while berating her for talking to that woman. Interestingly, their kids seemed very well behaved and nice, and I truly felt sorry for them. My next door neighbors, another couple with kids with whom I got along very well, later told me that entitled mother had tried to get them to file a noise complaint against me. According to entitled mother's logic, since I shared a wall with that family, they could probably hear all the ungodly noises coming from my apartment, and they should complain in order to protect their children. The nice couple told them that they would do no such thing as I had never bothered them and they had never heard any such noises coming out of my apartment. One night, Brian and Derek and I decided to have a foursome that would involve the 3 of us and Brian and Derek's friend, Dean. The next morning, Dean asked if he could come back to my place with me. As it was a Sunday morning and Dean was hotter than hell, I agreed. As he and I were walking down the hallway to my place, Karen was just getting out of hers. She saw Dean and I smiling and talking and his arm around my waist and approached me, asking angrily if I was
being a whore and selling my body.
I told her that she was insane and asked her to kindly step off. Later that day, I received a call from the property manager. She wanted to let me know that Karen and Todd had complained that I was a prostitute and that it was dangerous for their children to be in the same building as me. They told her in great detail about how I was bringing home different men. The property manager had gotten to know Brian and Derek quite well and had an inkling that I was friends with them. So she contacted them and they told her all about the entitled parents' crazy behavior and accusations that the man they had seen me with was a mutual friend. There was no prostitution going on. The property manager dissuaded entitled parent from filing any sort of false complaint against me as it would cause a world of trouble for them. I thanked that kind lady and later had a good chuckle over it all with Brian and Derek. The blatant harassment from Karen and Todd had stopped, but of course the hateful looks continued. On one occasion, when we were in the elevator together, Karen made a pathetic attempt at shaming me by condescendingly asking if I was going to have any men over that night. What she didn't realize is that shame about my promiscuity is something that I'm entirely incapable of feeling. I proceeded to tell her in great detail about all the sex acts I was going to engage in that evening. I mean, she's the one who asked, right? After this fun little interaction, she and her husband avoided me completely. Good times. Part of the appeal of moving out and, being on your own is that you don't have to deal with sneaking around, or at least as much as you would if you were living with your parents. And, that Karen's not letting this person just do their freaking thing. I would hate that if I moved into an apartment and had to worry about people seeing people going in and out of my apartment. Like, are you a prostitute? No, I was playing Mario Party. What the hell's wrong with you? Oh, by the way, Nintendo Switches are pretty freaking baller. Takes me back to the day of having a PSP and playing that like anytime I went anywhere. The Switch is pretty great. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.